Alex Carter stared at the countdown clock, its relentless cycle beginning anew. 60 seconds. The glowing red numbers cast an eerie light on the lab's walls, highlighting the chaos that had become his reality. Each second that passed was another nail in his coffin. This time, he didn't rush to the control panels. Instead, he just stood there, breathing heavily, his eyes tracing the outline of the loop device. It hummed quietly, almost innocently at the center of the room. How many times had he watched this scene unfold? 10? 100? He'd lost count. Alex walked over to his desk, cluttered with discarded schematics and empty coffee cups, each an artifact of a moment that no longer existed. He picked up a crumpled photograph of his wife, Jane, smiling on their last vacation, a world away from the nightmare he was living now. He hadn't seen her in weeks, maybe months. Time had become meaningless. For all he knew, she was living her life without him, thinking he was still at work, still tinkering in his lab. He glanced at the countdown clock again. 45. As he reached for the loop device's console, his hand trembled. He hesitated, the fear gnawing at his gut. The device seemed so benign, but it was a Pandora's box, opened wide. His mind replayed the moment he first activated it, the surge of electricity, the flash of light, and the initial thrill of bending time to his will. But now, every loop felt more like a sentence, each reset pulling him deeper into some unseen abyss. His gaze drifted to the far corner of the lab, where the shadows always seemed to linger longer than they should. The figure wasn't there this time, but Alex could feel it watching, waiting. He wasn't alone in this nightmare, and that thought chilled him to the core. 30. His breath quickened. There had to be a way out. Alex turned to his computer, his fingers flying over the keys as he scoured through lines of code. If he could just find the error, some rogue variable, a glitch in the system, maybe he could break the cycle. The screen flickered, and for a split second, Alex thought he saw a distorted face staring back at him, its eyes hollow and unseeing. He blinked, and the image was gone. Just another hallucination, he told himself, but deep down he knew it was more than that. The loop was unraveling reality, and whatever was on the other side was bleeding through. 15. The figure appeared again, a dark silhouette that seemed to flicker with the rhythm of the device's hum. This time it was closer, just beyond the reach of the overhead lights. Alex's mouth went dry. He knew he should run, but there was nowhere to go. The lab was his prison, and the loop was his warden. "Who are you?" Alex whispered, his voice barely audible over the machine's whirring. The figure didn't respond. It simply watched, its presence suffocating. Alex could feel its gaze piercing him, judging him. He was sure now. It wasn't just a byproduct of the loop. It was something sentient, something hungry. And it wanted him. 5. Alex's mind raced. He reached for the manual override, his last-ditch effort to regain control. But as his hand touched the button, the figure moved. Not a step, not a lunge, but a sudden, jarring shift, as though reality had skipped a frame. It was right beside him now, close enough that Alex could feel the chill emanating from its form. He froze, paralyzed by fear. The countdown hit 0. The lab reset. 59, 58, 57. Alex collapsed to the floor, the weight of his failure pressing down on him. The figure was gone, but the terror lingered. He couldn't keep doing this, living the same futile minute over and over, haunted by something he couldn't understand. But as the countdown continued, Alex knew he had no choice. He would loop again and again until his mind broke or he found a way out. Whatever came first. And somewhere in the corners of his fractured reality, the figure waited, patient and ever present, knowing that time was on its side.